Yes, open I have an empty folder, but you guys can have it in the next folder, on the JavaScript folder where you, because you did have an HTML folder on your parts, and you should have a JavaScript 1 folder, I guess. And then you should open the week 1 of that. And we will start with nothing now, basically. Because I would just like to go to the basic of where exactly can this run. Is this visible? Should I zoom in? You guys can read, right? Probably, yeah. Okay, so I created the index.html file on some folder. And you guys remember how HTML was, right? Mm-hmm. So we start with some HTML, right? And then what? Do you remember that? Head, and then here goes a body, right? And then of course inside of the body you put whatever you want. So now, for now, let's just put this is JavaScript. Now, actually, nobody asked that question, but I'm going to answer it right now. Sometimes, and I do see those things online when some recruiters are recruiting Java developers, and they tell you like, oh, you know JavaScript, you have skills. No, just because the word Java is on JavaScript, it's not Java. There's nothing to do with it. don't get fooled by it. It's not Java, it's JavaScript. It's a very, very different language. Behaves differently, programmed differently. People can say like the syntax is similar, but it's not the same thing. So, because usually it should be written with Java as a word and script next to it, but it's not a script of Java. No, it's its own thing. Just, just so you know. I don't know if you guys did that, but you can have inline style here, right? I'm pretty sure Krista told you guys not to do that at some point, to put it in a CSS file. But you can, technically, it is possible to have that. But it's also possible to have script here. And that's where JavaScript comes in play. So in between these two tags, like in between this tag, if you write h1 color red, I hope that one gets red. Let's try to find it. Can I open it from here? Oh my god, I don't know anything about this. Sorry. I need index.html. Did it all? Okay, it's here. So now here, if we open, yeah, this is JavaScript with red. This thing. So yeah, the same we can do with the script tag. Now we can actually do one of the things we saw before. So for instance, we can easily write let number equals 1 or 21 in this case, and then console.log number. So now what will happen if I refresh this?
Nothing.
Exactly. That's good. But there's something here. 21 is on this console. If I keep, every time I refresh, it's there. And there is no undefined now, finally. It's because we are running things from the website and not on the browser. So the same way that when we open the HTML, the index.html, the same way that the color from the style gets there, the script also gets there. Now, do you guys think there is a way of moving this script away from it? Like you did with the CSS? Like, I'm not sure. I don't know if Chris mentioned that, but I would think that you would say it's forbidden to have CSS here. CSS should be in a CSS file, right? So what about JavaScript? It's kind of also forbidden to have here, but how can we do? Can you tell me if there is a way of moving this?
You can just making a file and then you touch it, or maybe same way that we do with the CSS file.
Yeah. So we could have
like link
a script file and then link to it.
Yeah.
So let's try that. Let's create a new file on a root called I don't know, JavaScript. But now this file has to be .js because it's the short for JavaScript. So, and now we can remove the code from here. And oops, this has all this stuff. And just put it here, right? And now we don't need the script here. We should also remove this here because it's bad for us. And now it's a link, right? And then you remember which one is it?
REL.
And then should probably just be, oh, sorry, why isn't it?
No, it should be in
No, it should be REL should be no. You should write something else because
JavaScript sheet or what should we?
yeah, style sheet.
But style sheet is for styles.
Script sheet? No.
And then href and goes to the page.
Yeah. So now, yeah, and it creates a link because there is it here. So now if we refresh this one, oh, not here, but it is here. This is actually, and yeah, it's a.
Okay, I'm sorry, I got lost at this part. This makes me a bit confused.
Yeah,
now
yeah.
You created another page for only JavaScript.
Yeah, I created the file for JavaScript only, and I have it here.
Yeah, but you didn't do anything in it.
No, I just pasted what we had before. The JavaScript file as this let number and then console log number.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
So, for instance, when we go here, oh, but the internet is very, very slow. The internet has been very slow for us today. Actually, it is, yeah. No. Actually, I haven't done this in a long time. I actually don't know. Why is the internet failing for me?
You don't save it?
No, it misses the parameters. I know that, but I just don't know them by heart. I cannot have internet now.
No.
All right. Okay, let's.
Should be SRC.
Yeah.
Feedback.
And we can do like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on. There we go. And then we need the. Yeah, this should be enough. Nope, it's not.
Feedback.
Come on. I'm sorry, guys, but.
No, shit happens.
I just don't understand why my internet does not work. I'll do something else. Can I connect to my own? Come on. Oh, yeah, that's right. Come on. Why is my internet failing? You guys have internet, right?
One more.
Come on, internet. Okay, I cannot have access to the internet. That's bad. No.
Is it because of your Wi-Fi or the internet in general?
I'm not sure why.
I can share with you the internet on mobile.
I'm doing it by the phone now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because the connection is on, but I just wanted to show the place where that can go. But yeah, it's okay. Where is my code? Here, not this one. Sorry, this one. Yeah. So actually, one of the problems is this. Script.
To link the JavaScript page
File,
to the
yeah.
HTML file, you have to
You need to-
write the link tag and
No.
also the second one?
No, just the second one.
Oh, so the first one
The
doesn't
first one does not have to go there. Now,
Type
this one.
no.
Oh, sorry. What did I do? Oh yeah, here.
So can delete the first one?
Yes.
And use this.
Only that one.
So this for JavaScript,
Yes.
this is the
This
way
is the
we
tag.
handle it.
Yeah.
Not Kotlin. just-
different with the CSS.
Yes.
And we have to use the type text JavaScript.
Um, yes, you can actually define the type and but
We can do it without it.
actually one of them I think it's text slash JavaScript.
Yeah.
JavaScript. But this type here,
Yeah.
I don't think it's really necessary if you only have one JavaScript file.
Yes.
It would be necessary if you have other types of files, but that we won't touch right now. If for some reason we want to have a text file and read from a text file, like instead of HTML, instead of JavaScript, you have a text file, then that you would have to define it here. But that's not necessary. So if we load it, script, source, point to the file, and then end script, when we reload the page, now it's here. And it tells us where actually exactly this thing is happening. One thing that the JavaScript that we are going to build is going to be very small. Of course, it won't be, because sometimes people can build very big applications with JavaScript. And on CSS, you learn to always put the files on head, right? Because, and actually, when the browser opens your website, it starts to read things. JavaScript tends to be the best option to put it at the bottom. Because if the JavaScript is very heavy, if you're doing a lot of logic, at least you show the website first. So the style comes in, your body comes in, and people are able to see. But because the JavaScript might be very big, then if it comes after, it's bad for performance. But for now, we'll use it like that. And now if we have this here, do we all have it running? Yes. So now what matters is what happens on the javascript.js file, the other file. Because now in here we can put whatever we want and see it happening once we open our website.
Can you go back to index.html?
Oh, sorry. But again, this part is not really necessary. If you don't have it, it's still.
I just want to see what the results are.
Yeah. And if you reload, it should.
There's something.
No.
Here it's
Let's see.
2 equals.
Oh yeah. You can just remove this part like this. Save it now.
But that's the thing. I didn't write the let.
Okay. Yeah, but oh yeah. Now it should work. And now here as well.
No spaces.
No space. Oh, sorry, I'm not used to Windows computer. Sorry. Okay, now it appears there. Okay, actually, I'll show that. So, sorry. So what happens is on your JavaScript file, now we can honestly ignore the HTML because the only thing we need for JavaScript to come in is this that we just wrote. So let's close it. In our JavaScript file, again, syntax matters a lot. It also does in HTML and CSS, but sometimes in HTML and CSS, if you write the tag a little bit wrong, the browser still understands and still puts it together. Now in here, spaces matter as well. So I will zoom in this. Yeah. So for instance, if we remove this space from here, as you see, let is no longer blue. Now everything is black. And if we save it and actually try to run it on a browser, actually, and this is again where JavaScript might be very, very, very tricky. One thing I would advise you always to do is to read the error first. Try to understand what does the error is trying to tell you. So the error says uncaught reference error. So it means that you have a reference error somewhere, and then it says number is not defined. And when you look at here, it says javascript.js column 3. This means is in a file javascript.js line number 3. So actually, if you click on it, it even highlights it where it is. with an error. So you can really use this, the tools from the browser to inspect all your code and understand. And even before searching on the internet, I have this error or whatever, read the error, try to understand. Some errors won't not make sense. You will see those as well. But first, try to select, do I even understand what are they telling me? So what's telling us is that number is not defined. But we wrote here, let number. Now the problem is we did not had the space. I need to close this one, sorry. We did not have the space there. So now it will be okay. And again, that's why it's also good to use a code editor like VS Code or other code editors, because then you can also kind of, just by looking at the colors and everything, that there might be something wrong. So yeah, this space is very important. Now this space here, or here, it's not important. And yeah, because as you can see now it runs, no errors, no problems. And yeah, and this, I know, might be a little bit tricky, because now down here on the console, if you put any space somewhere here, is important. Like, I believe, okay, this one is not, yeah, but this one definitely is. It's not as well? Okay.
So you don't save it, maybe.
Wasn't I saving it then? Okay, but yours was not running like this.
I have no idea.
Because, yeah. But even though the browser is, but I am saving it, it's saved. This should not run.
Mine with no spaces.
Well, even though if it runs, there should not be these spaces at all.
So no space at all in the console.
No, every time you are, again, calling a function, the function is .log, we should attach it to whom are we calling it the log? We are calling it from a console. So it should always have .log in there. And yeah, and then in here, inside, actually, in here you can have spaces. Some people actually even like those spaces because it's more readable or not. That's up to the developer. There's a lot of discussions online about those things. Nobody agrees, but yeah. In here as well, it's not a problem. But it is, again, it's not a rule. It's just a visual standard for, around this we have spaces, around this we don't, here we don't, here we can't. So some of them is by legal terms, you cannot. Others is by more like visual, like looks better like this, looks not so good like that. So yeah, now we log a number, and actually, I'm not sure in your VS Code, but if you hover the mouse, the cursor on that number, now it looks very weird, right? It says let number, column number. So now we will say, let's rename this from number to this variable, and let's print it, this variable. Now if we do the same, now it changed. Now it says let this variable column number. And this is what we talked about, the types. Now this is actually types. It's because we were using the word number, but number is also a type in JavaScript. And that's an okay keyword to use. It's not bad. It should be, honestly, I think it should be reserved, but it's not. And this is the way of understanding of the variable. This variable is of column number means type number. And again, we did not tell it that it's number, but it just figured out because we gave it a number. So, for instance, now if we put quotes, around it, what do you think it will be? Yeah. So now it became a string. And we are still logging it. When we log it, actually, I don't know if it's visible, but let's try something else. Let this other variable equals 21. Okay. Now, I don't know if it's visible for you, but one is light, the other one is blue.
Yes.
It's actually because this is a string and this is a number, even though we see them as numbers. I would agree that this one should be in quotes here, so it would be more visible, because again, if we don't have this one to compare, we actually don't know that that's type string. In this case, in this specific case, it's, yeah. So yeah, you can define exactly the same result. Okay, I said that word wrong. You can define the same result, not exactly the same result, but it is the same result. It's 20, we see it as 21. And you can define it either as a string or a number, and as you see here, one appears like this, one appears like that. So now, is there a way, do you think there is a way to for us to know, even before logging this, to know is it a number? Because that might be useful in our logic, in our code somewhere. In JavaScript, there is this keyword as well called type of. I don't know if that's visible back here, maybe not. So this one, type of. As we can see, we have, sorry. In this example, we have x equals 5, and then type of x, and in here it's telling us it's a number. So let's try that. So okay, so we have this variable and this other variable. So before I console log this variable, I would like to know the type of it. So we can just console log colon put type of, and again that appears as blue because it's a reserved keyword, and now this variable. So now it actually tells us it's a string. It brings out here string 21. Okay, so can we do the same for this other variable? Wait, sorry. This other variable. So now this one is a number. So yeah, I mean, again, right now you might be asking, why would I ever need this? It is going to be useful. We will figure out today how useful this can actually be.
Can you just let
Yes.
us to write?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Could stop at 20. No, 220 to eat. No? Yeah. Yeah, well, you can send. No, I have a small question. Can I change this too? But we're keeping the same code. Is it okay to change this to a const? Can I change it to a const if I want it, just because?
How you want to change it in which way?
No, if I, instead of let, I would want const now as a constant instead of a variable.
Yeah, it will be the same.
Nothing technical, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not changing anything on that. But,
And also not,
but again, now you can understand if your code starts to be long and somewhere you're doing something and like for some reason you decide to change this, things are going to break and then everything's going to be full of errors. That's also why I mentioned before, it's very useful to understand the problem and then choose if it's a const or a let. A var would be exactly the same as a let. For now, we will talk about those. Can we keep okay?
No, it's totally complicated and it just stopped. We have this other way. Correct?
Yeah.
But also we have another version console like this other
Yeah.
type of this
Of.
other variable.
Yes.
Can I just copy
Yeah,
it?
copy and paste. Yeah. Now you can just write before that one. Yeah.
ON?
Yes, and then space. Yeah.
And also we have
Yeah, we
one
can
version
do on that
type
one.
of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see it at the beginning.
Yeah, you have to open the index. Yeah. And now you have to open the console in there. You have to inspect F12, I think.
Back. I was thinking about.
Yes, that.
Also,
Console. Yeah, right there.
Marco?
Yeah.
Why when you open like a normal website, you cannot see the JS for the AI?
Hmm?
When you open a normal website, for example, and you inspect that, you don't see the JavaScript or the AI inside.
No, because they are not console log. The thing is that what we are doing here, and yeah, if for some reason on our website we have the number 21 printed somewhere and we use JavaScript for it, and while we are programming, we do this just to check, is it really 21 that is printing? And then like, yeah, it is, okay, fine, let's deploy the website, let's put the website in production. Putting a website in production with console log on it, it's really, really bad. Should never be done because again, you can be giving hints for people to attack your website, depending on your logic, what you're calculating, whatever. So websites should not be logging anything unless it's not harmful at all. And in the developer world, it's also seen as a bad practice to have anything being logged. So some websites have a lot of stuff being logged. Other websites have nothing. Other websites, actually, I think it's Facebook and Google, if you try to see their console, they even show you a warning saying, please do not paste any code here because some scammers can give you a little bit of code to put there and then they can steal your ID, whatever. But it's a very dangerous thing to have logs on the console. That's why usually we don't see it. And if you see any, it's usually not harmful, nobody can use it to harm anyone. But yeah, but again, of course, if someone for fun gives you a little bit of JavaScript and tells you, oh, just paste it on your console, never do that because they can steal your login or something like that.
Oh, okay.
It's because again, it's as I said, like I think around 80% of the website right now are built with JavaScript. So people who know a lot, they can figure out tricky things to do with it. But yeah, that's why console log, we should use them, but before the website. Oh, okay, on the exercises we'll do, we have to have it because that's
Yeah.
basically the way to see. But once we build a real website, we should not have it. At all. Now, is it here? No. Yeah, okay, we're here. I still cannot connect. I don't understand this.
It's really
It's
cold, isn't it?
Yeah, it is cold in here, yeah.
I'll go to the
Should we
yesterday,
spare?
I'm not sure if it's working.
It's not working. But yeah, we were told that the heat is not on yet.
There it is. It's
Mm.
cool. It's not fair.
Okay, let's try to find another tricky thing to look at. So now we're gonna build an array of values, and let's have it 1, 2, and 3, just because. And now if we console log it, array of values, so it appears here 1, 2, and 3 with a length 3. Yeah, we saw this before. Now it's just in our own code. Now let's copy this one, paste it, and check what's the type of an array. And this is where things get even more tricky. So now he told us that an array is actually an object, it's not an array, as we saw before. As I told you before. It's not an array anymore. But it is an array, and it behaves as an array. It's just considered an object in that JavaScript.
No.
So I'll go back to the code. And now this is object of values. And name.
Okay, why specifically? Why did we put the only the first value?
No, that's just to have different values in the array.
Yeah, but like, shouldn't I put? Okay.
We can add this as well.
Okay, so it works both.
Yeah. It's just to show that we can either add strings or numbers or
Right.
just only numbers. It's nothing changes here.
Okay. Then that's great.
Now, when we log the object, it logs the object, right? And when we log console log type of object of values. Now both of them are objects. Wait, should I open? No. Okay, yeah. Let's see. So we define this array with the values 1, 2, 3, and it has the values 1, 2, 3 on specific positions. But the type of this array, they told us it's object. And then we build an object, a real object, with all these values, name, person. And when we ask for the type of it, they also told us object.
Right.
But, and again, it might be for a headache, but yeah. When you look down here on this proto, which is like a hidden, it's not a hidden, it's just a default field for all the objects or arrays that JavaScript needs. It's for JavaScript to handle. We really do not handle anything inside of here. Actually, here it tells us the truth, the real truth, that this is an object, this person is an object, but this one is an array, even though JavaScript considers it an object as well.
That's it.
Yeah.
Can you put it back to the code?
Yes. I'll open the code here.
Okay, I got, oh, equals.
Oh.
Someone equals. But hey.
So yeah, even though we were here specifically writing an object, and here specifically writing an array, JavaScript still considers both. But again, and I have to stress that it's very important to know what you want to build, so that you know exactly. Do I need to know that it has the key name, or I don't need to know anything, and I just put the values inside. Let me just open actually this or this. And actually, with the RTS code, if you hover the array of values, this one actually tells us the truth. It doesn't call it an object. It says that it's an array, and this is the logo for array of numbers, which is completely true. It's only numbers inside. So yeah.
What if there are different?
Let's see that.
Yeah, let's give me like a string and this object and numbers.
This is already a string, right? So now, yeah, it tells us that it has both, a little bit of both. Because, yeah, this it's called pipe. And this character, it's kind of an OR. It means, translates to OR, so it's string or number. Even though when you look at it, it's string and numbers, but again, it's not to validate, it's just to inform. So. Should we stop for food? I think it would be better. Yeah. Okay, let me pause.